He even had his own sons assassinated because he was afraid they were going to try to take the throne from him. We don't find it surprising that Herod ordered the execution of all the children under the age of 2 in Bethlehem when he heard about a new king. Those who put their trust in the things of this world always feel threatened when God starts moving. The chief priests, what was up with them? As I read the scriptures, I hear them answering Herod pretty quick when he asked them where the Messiah is to be born. So tell me, where's the Messiah to be born? Well, duh, in Bethlehem of Judea. Well, maybe not in that exact tone of voice, but did they hesitate? They just said, in Bethlehem of Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. They had that queued up pretty fast, didn't they? They must have known that, yeah, that's where it's going to happen. No hesitation, no hemming, no hawing, just, yeah, Bethlehem. Everyone knows that. Let me ask you, if everyone knows this, and if anyone could see the star up in the sky, why didn't they go to Bethlehem? Herod didn't go. He just locked himself up in his palace and tried to keep assassins away from him. I think the sin of Herod and of the religious people was almost like opposite sides of the same coin. Herod was excited because he believed that something was about to happen. And the religious people didn't get excited because they really didn't expect anything to be happening. Herod was afraid because he thought he was going to lose everything. He acted out of fear because things were about to get real. The religious leaders had grown up with the belief that God was going to send a Messiah. God had been faithful in the past. God had promised them a future. But when the time came, they missed it because it had always been out there. They never truly expected it to happen during their lifetime. Which do you think was the bigger sin? To react strongly because you're afraid of losing everything, or to not act at all because you're not paying attention? The shepherds and the wise men heard the news and reacted. They reacted with joy and wonder and anticipation. You may remember the shepherds, after the angels left, said, well, let's go see this thing. They left their flocks to go out and find out what this all meant. The Magi left their homes, their families, their jobs, their reputations, the comfort of their easy chairs, and went out into the night with wonder and desire to see what God was going to do next. How can I be more like the wise men and the shepherds and less like Herod and the priest? When I hear that God is doing something new, something different, something unexpected, what do I do? Herod stayed in the safety of his palace. The chief priests went back to their temples, to their studies, their comfortable places, but the shepherd and the Magi saw that God was acting in real time, in a real place, that God was real. The lowest of the low were not threatened by Jesus. Those seeking truth were not threatened by Jesus. They didn't see the dismantling of the current world order was something to be feared, but something to be celebrated. The poor and the meek and the humble were going to be the first ones to see God's new kingdom. The outsiders, the foreigners, those on the fringes of society were the first ones to come worship our Savior. They didn't have any preconceived ideas of what they wanted Jesus to be. They just heard the news and reacted with joy. Those outside the system recognized hope when they saw it, something that Herod and the priests missed. Things aren't perfect yet, and God is doing something about it. and you can be a part of it. They told us in seminary, the best theology usually comes from the places where there's most turmoil and struggle in the world. Germany, during World War I and World War II, became a great